Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. Today I'll be going over my second round game from the Gohio State Championship from Columbus, Ohio. If you did not see my first round game, I did end up winning that, so I'm currently 1-0. And my second round opponent is Jeremiah, a.k.a. Jae Donley. Now, Jay was actually the TD for this event, and in the first round, we had an odd number of players, so he took a bye, or however it happened in the first round, he ended up not playing. But in the second round, I guess in the second round we had an odd number because then he filled in so that nobody had to not play. And as the TD, he in the first round took the bye because he's the TD, right? It's his event, and with that, before we even get into the game, as somebody who has TD'd events but also played, I know how hard it is, and I respect that immensely because I believe in the past he has ran events in Columbus but never played because it is a handful. So I respect him playing while TDing, especially like my events, not to downplay them, but this event had, like our Cleveland events have like upwards of teen amount of players, whereas this event had like 40 plus players roughly. So yeah, it's a big event. So I tip my hat to Jay. But with that being said, I was not going to go easy on him just because he's the TD. So let's jump into the game. I've known Jay for quite a while, ever since the Baduk residency that happened, I think in 2020. So yeah, let's jump into the game. As I said, Jay was black, I am white. As a reminder, this was Fisher time, so it's 30 minutes main time, with 15 seconds added to your clock every time you play. And we're playing AGA rules. So we get a cross Fuseki, black approaches, and then I approach, and then black goes here, and I saw this, I was like, okay, usually you get G3, but H3 is also possible. But I attach. Black Hani's on the inside, and as soon as black did this, I was like, oh, I know which branch we're doing, which is very funny because we get the Zatari into extend. If you have been watching my NAOL reviews, there is a player that I often have to review who, whenever they get black, they do the same Joseki. So this is actually a Joseki. While it's not super common, I do know the general way of how to handle it, if you will. So yeah, so I know to play d6, and when black comes under, I attach. Now, you don't want to just... first off, I think it is playable to allow black the outside somehow. Yeah, what's the best way? Is it this? Is it? You could definitely just net, but it always feels too cramped in the corner. It never feels good, if you will. So... yeah, that's why I don't like doing it. But you don't want to just Atari down and play this way because you would like to extend from these stones, but H3 is in a very annoying spot. That'd be basically where white would want to play. So that's why I just jump out to see how black's going to play. Just see how black's going to play. If black connects, you're able to block, and while black needs to answer, and while you don't get that splitting move like at G3, your direction here would then favor a pincer like this. So why black does this one. So taking away liberty keeps this push and cut alive for black, if you want to think about it that way. And again, here I could just Atari and then go here. And black sealed in the corner. And yeah, I think this is also possible. But in the game I attached. This is threatening to play this ladder if black just answers simply here. So that's why black extends. I can stand up. And then black pushes and cuts, which then I jump. This is, again, threatening to... I can't really fight this. Even if I can get a descent here, I can't really fight this fight. At least I thought I couldn't. Whether black just stands up or even hits the weakness here of my bamboo shape... Yeah, this fight will favor... It's definitely a case of I have two weak groups and black only has one. So I just figured, okay, I'll just build the bottom. And then when black Ataris, now that black is building a big left side or potential left side, I play e16. Because if I did something else, I've thought if black leaned here, yeah, this left side's very efficient for black, right? If you can ever build an area, a side, but not play the side move, it's a very efficient way to build. And even if black did just add a side move, that's pretty efficient, actually. So, yeah, so that's why I did the shoulder hit. Black approaches, and then I say, okay, then I'm going to get you. I play the diagonal, I should say, preventing black shoulder hit. And then when black gives me the chance, I do play the shoulder hit. Because even though I get e16, if black did just add a move, the left side is still pretty big. But I understand black going elsewhere as well. Right side's also buildable, but I get the shoulder hit. Then black plays the big Shamari. And then I back off. This is, again, there's a lot of different ways black can play. Black could continue on the bottom side. Black could continue here, treating the stone lightly. I might lean towards O3 to try to use this H3 stone. Yeah, if you imagine, if this move is always Sente, L3 is a very nice spot to get for both stones. So this is, I think, possible. But playing a Shamari is kind of like playing an early 3-3. It's generally never bad. So, but I get my move on the bottom, and then black backs off, and then I get to extend. So far it's pretty, besides maybe the, let's say, less common Joseking lower left, it's pretty understandable so far, I think. Both sides playing very reasonably. And then the next move, if you have not seen this move, might look a little strange, but there's a very important reason why black does it. Black plays here. Now you might be wondering, why would black play here, right? It just feels weird, right? Now the reason why you do this pretty much ultra defensive move, is you basically, one, you're getting rid of pretty much all the Aji in the corner, but more importantly, you're making it so that white doesn't get forcing moves against the upper right. Because even if you play a move like this, because you have left a little bit of space, there's just a lot more Aji there. And so by being ultra defensive here, black is planning, or has the opportunity to, go all out on the attack on the upper side. So like, for example, if you do play this, and let's say I do jump out, because this is the move I play in the game. If black ever does come in like this, because of the weakness black has potentially left here at P17, moves around O15 are a lot harder for black to attack, right? And it's because of moves like P17 in conjunction with either R17, again, depending on what black does, right? If this moves Sente, white can jump out here, white can attach here. There's a lot of problems. And whether right now or in the future, black's going to have more Aji there than if black goes here. Now, because of how black played, black could almost immediately cut this if black wanted, because there is 0 Aji in the corner. So that's why you play this diagonal. Again, it looks strange, but it is playable. It is definitely playable. Now, as I was saying, if you can build a side without playing like a side move, it's very efficient. So I felt very good about jumping out here. As well as if I do just play a quote-unquote normal move and black gets to cap, it's also a space where both sides can grow. So black limits my growth, whereas black also builds the right side. But black plays here. Yes, this is a big spot. And another Columbus player who I've played a few times now, Paige Lemaster. I was having flashbacks to our last game that we played, I believe, in Cleveland last year, at the end of last year. And I don't think it was this exact... It was definitely not the exact lower left position, but it was this sort of... I had a one-space jump, and Paige had approached on both sides. And I just remember Paige ended up getting... I think I did something like this, and Paige ended up getting this slide. And this slide just felt really bad. Not only is it giving black the base on the bottom, it's taking away my base and taking away my points. So I was getting flashbacks to that game. So I was like, you know what? And I ended up making like no points in this corner. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to block here. It's a spot where I can make a base and get rid of black's base, and if black gets O2, black builds their base and takes away my base. And then again, black plays a, maybe not a strange looking move, but yeah, there's a very specific reason why black plays this move, I guess is a good way to put it, is simply that normally you want to play this Hane into Tiger's Mouth. Like, how many times have you seen you play here, Hane, and then play Tiger's Mouth? Because generally the Tiger's Mouth is the best way to start to make eyes quickly. And even if you have a Ko's better than just dying outright. So the question is, why does black not make the Hane? Well, it has to do with the corner. So even if black plays here, one, if I fight this Ko, like I could probably still fight this Ko, right? If I really wanted to. But the real problem is, if I just connect, this threatens to cut at D2 anyways. So if black has to fix in the corner somehow, and I get to just continue on the bottom side, black's Tiger's Mouth shape here, esque shape here, I should say, is not that effective. It's not that effective. So, yeah, it's because this connection is Sente, black wants to just play a Sente exchange, so black goes here. So now when I go down, black has time to still play a move. Now I think here I would still play at H2, I think. Simply because I'm still going to descend, and now if I play this one space jump, it's quite hard for white to seal me in. And I think there's less Aji in my shape, because you'll notice I end up getting K3, and it kind of is like a thorn in black's side. Yeah. But I think J2 is the right idea. The black jumps out, and this is what I mean. I play K3. The idea with K3 is just identify all the shapes and what is the like common denominator amongst the weaknesses, right? So you can see we have a knight's move, we have a tiger's mouth, and we have a large knight's, right? So I was like, okay, this move checks all the boxes on hitting the weakness. So it hits the knight's move, because the weakness of the knight's move is hitting the dog face spot. Obviously, the tiger's mouth, or the diagonal, is hitting the tiger's mouth spot. And the large knight's weakness is if you just threaten to split the large knights. So black just covers, and I'm not going to do anything immediately, but if black ends up, one, if I wait too long to do this, like if I do something else and black covers, then if I do this now, black can probably play differently. Again, I'm not sure the exact move, but just the idea that black can play differently because I waited is, again, not a huge problem, but I was trying to get black to answer right now, since it is forcing. And then I play here. So, again, the basic idea with this move is I want to attack the bottom. So I'm leaning on the left side to get stones facing towards the bottom. Because, for example, if I just cover like this, which is directly attacking, like my attack ends pretty quickly if I do that. And now the question is, how is J7 actually helping me? It's not really helping me that much. So I want to try to do a forceful move. So again, look, I just want to point out I'm doing a shoulder hit. And so the idea is if black does the same thing, like just lives, then my profit is very obvious. The left side becomes ginormous. It becomes absolutely ginormous. Because again, if you can build a side area without playing the stone in the middle, it's very efficient. So, yeah. So that's why I played here. So again, I'm actually going after the bottom side. And of course, black knows this. It's not like black doesn't know this, but black plays here. And again, very interesting move coming next. Because you might think, okay, let's make good shape. Right? So you might be thinking, okay, let's make the bamboo joint. But this is where good shape can kind of lead you astray. There's a few problems with the bamboo joint. One, you're not taking away a liberty from these two stones. And so when black Hane's here, this cut is now not Sente. And not that I'm going to cut immediately, but the whole point of playing E8 is so that I've created a weakness here. The other problem with this move, compared to this one, is this one threatens to make an I at F3. So I'm actually helping my group make an I because I can play at F3, whereas this one, I would still need another 2 moves to make an eye there. So it has to do with eyes, and it has to do with taking away the liberties on these 2 stones. Because look what happens. I play here. I extend, of course. Black pushes. And then black covers, because that is a big spot. But let's say I didn't do that, right? And we did... First off, and also look at my shape here, right? This would be horrible. But let's say black does something else, right? Let's say we go back to black doing this. Well, now this cut here is not an Atari. And the fact this is not an Atari means even if we do this one, it's just, it would be a lot more efficient and a lot better if this move was an Atari. Like if black just takes and I cut, black can still extend. So, yeah. So taking away the liberty is very important because, again, I'm trying to attack the bottom. So black goes there, black pushes and then covers. Again, black could help the bottom, but black thought this move was too painful because, again, black's low on liberties. So, like, black can't make the tiger's mouth because this still threatens to cut. And if black just connects, this move threatens to pull this 1 stone out. And look again, look how efficient the left side is. So, yes, and even if I wanted to, I could even just cut. And again, this cut is an Atari, which that makes a big difference. So, yeah, so that's why black goes there. But then I get the first move on the bottom. Black extends. Then I play here, again, threatening to pull the stone out. And it's also like kind of the key spot in black shape. And I'll always say, if you can just try to remember kind of key shapes, that'll help a lot in the long run, is all I'm going to say. Black bumps, and now all of a sudden, black is now getting surrounded. So black jumps out. And it's a little finicky, because I wanted to, like, bump here and then play... Yeah, maybe not directly bump. I guess play here and then, like, cut black off like this. And if black just jumps out, which this would be kind of the standard move you might look for, because I can push here, black actually has more problems than I do. Because if black blocks, then I can still push, Atari, connect. Yeah, again, because of this Atari, it's not super clean. Although in this case, I guess it would still be okay for black. But we get back to the left side still being a problem. So it's still not super clean for black. But I think the better way for black to do it is not even leave the weakness and just go here. Meaning if white covers, I can just cut like this. And this stone here at N5 is actually in the perfect spot to capture these 2 stones. So it's a difficult position for white. Yes, I think this exchange is still good. Because in the game, I end up turning. So it's a question of, was turning the correct order? Or, like, should I have given up the stone? And I think so, because in some cases, this move won't always be sente. Black can just connect here. And if I connect, right, push. So that stone won't always be sente, I guess. Or I can't always get black to cut here. Which if I can get black to cut here, obviously black makes pretty bad shape. So I turn, black goes there, I poke. I thought black might do this one, because this one threatens to Hane here. And even if there's an Atari next, yeah, I guess it's, yeah, even just go here. Yeah, even just turning next, it's actually hard for me to seal black in. So I think this is slightly better. This one obviously lets me poke, and then kind of like with E8, I want to attack the bottom, so I lean on the right side. Black peeps here. Hanes and then jumps. And so far I'm pretty happy with how I am playing this. Like, I'm hitting black's weaknesses. I've got a weak group I can attack. I think my next sequence is when I make my first mistakes. This shoulder hit here is fine, right? I want to keep black separated, but I'm not a fan of this clamp here. The reason why I'm not a fan of this clamp is it just lets black fix the right side. And it's kind of going, not all in is too strong of a word, but I lose a lot of Aji on the right side for attacking a group that has one eye. And so I'm basically saying, okay, if I can keep attacking this, I'm going to get enough benefit from giving up points on the right side. So Yeah, and I don't think that's, and basically I don't think that's true. So one, I should either just keep going. Again, I don't think black can ever really push and cut this. Just because black themselves is very weak because of this cut. But also, like, if I just don't touch that, right, let's say black can live somehow. Again, I got to live too. But let's say black's out. Then whether I cut here or even can block at R5 and Sente, that is huge. But once I make this clamp into Atari, notice now this isn't Sente. I can't cut, obviously, at R7. So my corner is actually a lot smaller. So I'm investing too much in attacking this center. So I needed to just kind of take a step back, take a breather. Again, I think where I should go is here. This is basically protecting this stone here. Because if black pokes here, I don't have to block. I can now double peep like this. And again, this stone is perfectly in place to let me cut this. Yeah. So I think I should just jump here. And again, it's still, again, black doesn't really want to push and cut because, again, black loses the right side. So I would still be safe here. Yeah, and if black hanes, I can still poke here, maybe black bamboos, and I can still extend. And again, I'm leaving this cut alive and this R5 block alive. So, and I will say again, I am a pretty fast player, and generally that's okay. It means I have more time to think in kind of the more important spots. But I remember this was like a moment I definitely should have slowed down and analyzed a little faster, or a little more, I mean, not faster. Analyzing faster would have been great, but more specifically just analyzed a little more deeply than just, oh yeah, I know, oh, when I get the shoulder hit, I can clamp. This was where like shape knowledge almost led me astray, because, yeah. But then I connect, which again, I think is okay. Again, I'd rather just play a move out this way. Again, this does at least threaten to capture the 3 stones, but yeah. I think this is just more efficient this way. And then black plays a strange move of this one. Now, the reasoning makes sense behind this move, but black just didn't consider how white could answer. Because if white goes elsewhere entirely, black's threatening to push and then cut this, like this, right? And this would be pretty dangerous for white. Yeah, this would be pretty dangerous for white. But if white answers, black's idea was black didn't want to see, like, let's say black did something else. Black didn't want to see this move. Black wanted to be able to not have to connect like this. Because if black now does it, maybe black now doesn't have time to, was black's idea. I still think black can do it, of course, because, well, I guess it is pretty tricky, right? Yeah, because if I can just live here and then there's cut on the outside, basically black didn't want to have to deal with this. Black wanted to be able to make the bamboo joint. So then if black goes here, and let's say I blocked, and then I did this, black wanted to be able to go here, which threatens like Atari's here. So what black was trying to keep good shape. The problem was black made a bad exchange because I can fix my weaknesses by going here. And again, this does secure the corner because, again, at any point black could have played this move, especially after I secured the right side for black. Like, this move is less likely if the right side's in danger. Yeah, it's less likely. Not impossible, but like I can play a little lighter now because there's cuts here and problems here for black. Yeah. So, but once I made black strong, there was more Aji at R3. But when black made this exchange, I was able to go there. And I remember black during the game was visibly upset or audibly upset. One of the two, maybe both even. But yeah, I remember black like being like, oh, of course, like, of course that's the move. So yes, black goes there. And then I get this Hane. Again, just trying to wall off the left side. And then black fixes. I jump out again. I don't actually care about this E8 stone. Remember, I was just trying to help my group attack the bottom, which I did. So I just jump here. Black takes my shape point. That makes sense. I bump. Black jumps out. So I can Hane. Black takes my shape point. So I peep first, see if black actually cares about it. Black fixes. I Atari, black connects, and then I just connect. And yeah, black jumps and I cover, and the fight's kind of died down. Black's not fully connected here, but it's light enough that if black has to, black can give up some stones. But yeah. And at this point, I'm feeling pretty okay, actually. Even though black invaded my bottom, black didn't make that many points, and I secured my lower right somewhat. I've saved my weak group, and the weak group even has some potential on the left side. So I was definitely feeling okay here. And black plays here. So black's trying to treat the C14 stones lightly. Yeah, as opposed to just crawling or jumping. Black's also saying if you do block, I have potential co's or life, even life in the corner. So yeah, it's good. But then I peep. And yeah, I think peep, this is again where I get a sequence that quote unquote works, but I didn't analyze kind of the end result enough, if that makes sense. Because for example, I could have poked here and then like pushed. It's a little vulgar to just be pushing like this, but yeah, black can't really hane because of this cut. If black extends, can I even just take the elephant eye potentially? Again, this really isn't my style that much, but I would be able to like keep black separated. Because in the game, I do separate black, but I do it in such a way that's even more vulgar than this, is what it comes out to. Like, even here, if I just push. Yeah, there's just a lot more potential with these kind of pushes and cuts. Maybe not immediately, but yeah, I think there's a better way than what I did, I guess, is what I'm basically getting at. Because here, I force black to make good shape, and I come down, black turns. Again, if I can just... I think I need to play on the right side first to see how black's going to play. Just treat this R12 stone lightly, because if black ends up making this exchange, right, not that black should, but just for example, then there's a lot worse Aji in the corner, or in the center, I mean. Black goes here, or I peep, give black good shape, because, again, I could do this, and we do this kind of fight, which, again, my shape looks horrible, and that's because it is, but it's still better than the shape I get in the game, believe it or not. So, yeah. Because in the game, I cover, and when black wedged, I was like, oh, I can cut this. Because black actually, it might look like black can just squeeze and connect like this. But if you play here, I can double peep. And so even if you connect, I can cut off the bottom. So black knows this, so black found a nice move of playing here. And again, it's actually better for me to just connect here. Yeah, even if black connects first, the shape will just be a lot better than how it was in the game. Black has to go here, and now if I just jump out, yeah, the shape's just a lot better. Because again, what happens in the game is I take, black can wedge first. I have to Atari this way. Atari. Black gets this hane first, and this was kind of the kicker. Is this hane is very annoying. Yes. Because I have to fix, and then black can fix anyways, and so now you can see the shape I'm talking about. Black gets this pretty much key spot at M11. And even after taking this key spot, there's no reason for me to make this exchange. This just helps black surround my center stone. I should just come from this direction. Because if black wants to try to connect, black would be hurting their right side. So I can naturally force black into hurting their right side. But going there, yeah, I just kind of help black swallow. But even here, I should just play here. This is a key spot to get. Threatening to pull this stone out is quite big because that's black's eyes. So, yeah, and again, black doesn't want to have to connect because black would be hurting their right side. But I go down. Can't say that move's horrible, though. Black comes out, plays lightly, and then I can play here. And black's next move might look kind of, maybe not crazy is the right word, but kind of away from everything. But the idea is black wants to go here. But if black does this immediately, I can just push and cut. And if black Ataris and let's say has to keep me separated with this move, then I can turn Atari, and then connect. So, yeah, I can save these stones basically But if black already has this stone at g14, when black covers here, right, if black had this exchange on the board, black would be able to surround me. So that's why black plays here. Black's threatening to come in, but is fixing or is threatening this move. So this is a nice order of moves here by black. I play here again. I'm trying to, obviously I can just block here, but I'm trying to find a way to incente fix this problem here. Black makes this exchange and then comes back. Yeah, and this is good enough for now, at least. Because again, if black ever tries to connect, I can bump up and then play here. And again, there's some danger, but yeah, for now it should be okay for white. But that's why I made this exchange. And then I come in. Coming in, I think is playable, but yeah, I wish I had just fixed the left side somehow. Maybe this one, or even just play this one, just secure the corner. Yeah, I think B13 would be, if I could change my mind where I would play. Yeah, this just eliminates a lot of white's problems that end up happening in the game. But I play here, basically saying, okay, I got to get some use out of my squeeze here. Or getting squeezed, I should say. So play there. Black goes on top. I get to extend. Black has to block. And then black plays there. Yes. Yes. Now here, I think black should... Remember, black played ultra defensively at P17. So I think black should really try to be more aggressive here. There's less Aji because black played P17 as opposed to other moves like O18 and 17. So, yeah, I think black should Hane. Again, I can't really double Hane because black just Ataris and connects. If I cross-cut, even this would be, I think, better. Yeah, what's the order here? There's an order here I think is okay for black. If you just Atari... The question is, can you take? Can you take? Potentially. Maybe it's a ko, but maybe black doesn't want a ko. If this happens, I still think this is better than the game, I still think. White's shape is much worse. And black's getting a bigger corner. When black just descends, I can push up. Here, I should just cut. There's no reason not to cut. Like, absolutely no reason not to cut. Because black can't stand up because I can capture. So black has to either connect here or connect here, and then I'll just do what I did in the game anyways, which is play here and then cover here. As you can see, white can pretty comfortably connect. I even connect there, cut, play there, and I'm actually alive already. Believe it or not. Yeah, so I have time to come back and connect here. It looks scary, but there's a very good kind of corner Tetsuji that you need to know. Where, let's see, what's the best way black can try? Maybe this one? Because if this works, even if I can live, right? If I have to give up, because if I just connect here, yeah, how should I say this? So let's say black peeps and then connects. I would like to be able to connect here, of course, right? But if I just die, then it's not worth it. But if I have to live, then black can just cut. But there's a good way to prevent that, is white can play here. Even if black can stand up, because obviously if black goes here, white can stand or play here. And even maybe pushing first is better. Yeah, pushing first is better. A lot of times this is a Tetsuji you can play, but in this case, white has that extra liberty. So it is okay for black. But let's say white pushes and then clamps, right? Like this. The question is, can black cut? If black can cut, then obviously now white dies. So let's say black cuts, white Ataris. There's a very important order of moves. Because if you just Atari first and then cut, there's not going to be anything here. There's nothing there. But if you try to throw in and then Atari, then black can Atari you this way. So there's a very important order of moves here where you have to cut first. Cut first, then extend, and now you can throw in, and now you have successfully captured these stones, because now black cannot play T16. So this is a very important order of moves that happens. I said in the corner, but it can honestly happen on the side too. But it's mainly, I guess, the main thing is it happens on the third line, is the third line cut. Is that don't Atari first, because then now you can't throw in. But if you throw in first, black can now play differently. So, yes, I'm alive because that means if black has to, let's say, connect and then connect, I'm able to connect, of course. So, yes. So black just turns. Yeah, I still think playing at that spot, it's still better, but it's still okay. Black turns. I just cover. Then black dives under. I attach here. You might think, what if black captures this? If black captures this, I can actually save these stones. Because once again, these two stones are weak, and this is a ladder breaker. So black pulls back. Yeah, black pulls back. I'm wondering if there's any way, like... Yeah, I want this kind of move to work, but it just does not quite work. Yeah. Yeah. Because black pulling back is pretty nice, but I can go here into this. This is still okay, though. Black cuts. I can Atari. And black makes a pretty big blunder here. Is black takes here. Now, the problem with this move is, first off, if this is black's area anyways, black actually will never need to play this move pretty much. So black should just fix by going here. Yeah. This is going to avoid what happens in the game from happening, basically. Yeah. Now, again, black takes here, and notice these two stones still have 2 liberties, so they're a lot weaker compared to taking. Now they have 3 liberties. And this is where my bad shape earlier comes in to save me, because I can make an eye here. If I couldn't make this eye, then everything I did on the left side would not have been good. So black goes there, I cover. Black goes down. And again, if I just do this, one of the main things to getting better is trying to do things as efficiently as possible. So if I just do this, black can just go elsewhere. So I try to be as efficient as possible by attaching here. If, let's say, black plays here, right? And then again, this moves an Atari. And then I can Atari, and then even connect. And now I've created some Aji and being able to connect there, which I don't think black would want. If black doesn't want that, though, then I can just kill the left side. If black lets that happen, though, first off, the left side's still question mark, and that happens in the game, but I can actually connect here, because this threatens to still, if black cuts, push and cut here. So black has to play here. So I've created some Aji to save these stones. But if I just like turn here and black just like goes here, obviously black needs to live. But basically, now if I attach here, black can play differently. Black could even give up the 2 stones. Well, I guess you have to go here. But black could even give up the 2 stones because they're not as valuable anymore. So, but okay, black goes down, go here and here. I can play at K18. I have enough liberties, so if black turns, I can play here. So everything so far is going pretty swimmingly, if I do say so myself, for white. So I can connect again because of the weakness here. I'm not worried about any separation. Black goes there, Atari, and connect. So I'm connected through. Black can't cut, black fixes. And then black Hanes. So, yeah, here. This is, again, a moment I've definitely played too quickly. If I simply just go here, again, maybe black can extend once, and I have to fix. But I definitely have enough liberties and even eye space to just win this semi-eye. And I was looking at this, and I'm not even sure what I was seeing. Like, if black goes here, there's no weakness on this side. Like, if black cuts, I can just Atari, double Atari, That's fine. Black cuts here. I can just give it up. Black can't cut because it's, again, connect and die. So there's just no problem. So again, it's a spot I just played way too quickly, which again, I always tell my students, like, play quickly in the opening or quicker in the opening because you lose games not in the opening, but in middle game. But what that means is I need to slow down in the middle game because this is what's going to decide games here. So now black can extend here. I have to play here. Black turns. I play there. Black Ataris now and then can Atari and now makes a ko shape. So I go down. Yeah, and I go down. And then here, this is a weird... This is not normal. Because normally you would think, okay, white needs to make an eye. So it's eye versus no eye. But the difference is we don't actually have any... Well, we have one, but we don't have many shared inside liberties. So this is actually a case where I need to just play here. Making an eye is not helpful in this kind of scenario because black will still play the kind of squeeze he did in the game. Maybe I can, and I can even maybe take once. Yeah, I can even take once. Make black use another threat. But even if I don't do that, we get this kind of shape. Black needs to ignore 3 of my moves now. What happens in the game is I make my eye, as you're normally supposed to do, but then black can extend once. I have to block, and now black has made it so that black only needs to ignore 2 moves now. So, yeah, again, if I just blocked at K17, this wouldn't happen if I didn't make the eye. So I'm definitely kicking myself here, but the consolation in this is at least black has to ignore 2 of my threats. And so I'm looking around the board and I'm like, okay, you know, this is possible. This is possible. So black goes there, black cuts. So now we're playing a ko. When you're playing ko threats, always play ko threats. Generally speaking, again, I don't want to say this as fact, but you want to play threats that keep the stones on the board, usually. So like this threatens to cut, but so does this. But notice this move would make black capture, whereas this move still threatens to cut, but it keeps my 018 stone on the board. So we get that. Black cuts. I take. I cut here. This is big because if black makes the ko bigger, let's say, and black plays, you know, like a threat like this, now if I win the ko, I'm threatening to kill the entire upper right. So yeah, that's why I'm cutting here now while I have the outside liberties. So black plays there, black cuts, which again, here I should just descend here because this is a lot harder for black to ignore. Because again, for example, if let's say black takes away a threat or a ko, and black goes here, well, this is not that big actually because again, even if black cuts off the center, I can threaten to kill the upper right. So, yeah, this would be a good result for white, even though I lose these stones. So yeah, my order of moves for kos here is also not great. Because I connect. Now, once I connect here, now black gets this juicy threat at P4, which I pretty much have to answer. So I Atari, black answers, and then I go here, or black goes here, I should say. And again, I can answer this in 2 different ways. I can extend here, or I can just connect. In the game, I just connected, which to limit ko threats, this makes sense. But what I failed to realize with this move, or black here was threatening to connect to or capture the stone. And as we'll see what happens, black takes the ko. I push here. And the reason why you might think, why does black need to answer this? It's, again, making the ko big. So let's say black makes a ko threat like this. That is now not big enough because, well, again, because of how I played, maybe that's not a threat. But the idea was if I connect here, black would be locally dead in this center, right? Black can't make 2 eyes. Now, again, because I played this way, black could just take. So, again, I think black cuts. Even though I connect here, black captures these. It would still be okay. But that was kind of the idea of that move. So, I guess black didn't need to answer, actually. But black knew black had more threats. Black went here. Yeah, which, again, I mean, it's really just the tail. it's really just the tail. I don't think I need to answer that, but. And then I go here. And again, I thought black would really need to answer this, but black ignored because black knows black has at least one threat here. I kind of have to answer. This is the benefit of cutting me off, is I need to live. And then I take. So I win the lower left, but black wins the top. But then here, this is where the let's say if I lose this game, this is the move that makes me lose this game. Is this move here. Encroaching on black's area. Because my idea was, okay, I'm going to kill you, black, if you go elsewhere, right? If you, let's say, do something else, I'm going to poke here and you're not alive. Which, again, that would be true. But I forgot black can capture, capture the stone anytime. And we could see that because I also played this threat that was not a threat, it turns out. And so when I played here, black just lives. Because again, this whole time as well, I could just poke here. Now, for a lot of this area here, I was like, oh, well, black can just kind of make an eye here. But again, I forgot. Like, if I had extended here, again, black would be able to make this move, which then this does start to, like, this helps black make two eyes. So if, if I end up, if the same thing happens, then in my mind, black was already alive because I was like, oh yeah, black can play c13. But because I went here, black can't play c13 in Sente. So I basically just answered this threat, but didn't think of the ramifications of the threats that black played. Yeah, so if I just do this, again, this move's not Sente anymore. Even if black gets this move in Sente, there's nothing black can do. I think technically black has a ko. If black goes here and Atari, black can go here. But again, this is not a fun ko. And even like this ko is hard to win even because assuming black has some threats, I can cut here, which forces black to go here. And then black can't even connect the ko. So black would need to ignore a threat to then make the ko. Yeah, it's not great for black. So yeah, so basically I forgot everything about how I played this. And yeah, so then my move was not a threat. This is a big move to get, by the way, this Atari. Very big. Just a point in Sente, because the follow-up is Sente, because I can Atari. But yeah, even with all that being said, it is still pretty close, because the lower left was a big exchange of territories. But yeah, I was definitely kicking myself, and just like, why don't you just take more time? Just take more time when you're playing these games. But yeah, we played this ko out a little bit. I do actually have... Black ends up actually throwing away a point here. Yeah, he thought maybe I was low on liberties or something. He was low on time too. So, yeah. But yeah, just we wrap up. And again, I was using C Goban as the Kifu maker. And it has an AGA rules listed, but again, there's no way to do pass stone. So again, I think this score is a little bit off. Or at least I'm pretty sure it was a little bit off. I think black won by a little bit more than what it says, but according to the C Goban application I use, it was black by 3.5. And that's with 7.5 Komi, because this was an even game. So yeah, a game that I definitely had good chances to win, but I just fumbled the top. And then even after fumbling the top, I had a chance if I just killed the left side, but I just completely forgot black was already connected. And yeah, again, I think overall I played very solidly. Again, maybe I played the center area not at the best. Maybe I should not have come in as deep. But the early fight I was very happy with, and even like after the fight ended, I was happy with how I handled the left side and everything like that. But yeah, definitely had some regrets after the game. Again, overall though, I'm pretty happy, but it is playing a back-to-back long games, because I forgot to mention, because I think I mentioned to keep track of this in the first video, but this game also had prisoner exchange. And so my first game had prisoner exchange, and this game had prisoner exchange. So that's 2 out of my 2 games so far had prisoner exchanges, and these games were all long and arduous gauntlets. So it's very exhausting to try to play perfectly for hours at a time. And so I cut myself a little bit slack on that. But to be fair, also, as I said, Jae was running the tournament and he still, got the W. So, maybe I can't really make that many excuses for that. Not that I'm making excuses, but overall, I'm happy. I just wish I could have played the late mid game a lot better, because there were a lot of places I could have just played much better moves. So, yeah, but that's how Go is sometimes. So, yes. So after this game, I was 1-1, and I was like, oh my God, we're only halfway through. And it's already felt like such a long day, but we keep playing, don't we? So yeah, look forward to round 3. If you have any questions about this game, please let me know in the comments section below, and I'll see you all in the next video.